welcome to another edition of the Tough Podcast, man. We got two special guests with us, man. Money Geek Pete, aka P, the producer, and Javon, man, the artist, man. How y'all doing?
Been making music since I was probably about 10. I taught myself how to play a guitar. Taught myself how to play or do FL, man. My cousin, man, he used to make beats. And he started bringing his laptop around me, and I got curious, and he showed me.
Is there one that you spent the most time on? Maybe.
I would say what matters. Like you said. I spent a lot of time writing it. I would say it's a good one because of the fact of the time period.
All right, man. That was a good little interview. I think we got a lot of stuff out of it, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna check them out after this.
Yes,
Was it
Ricardo, how
similar
you
to-
feeling, brother? Yeah, it was, but
Talking to
it
me?
was more in depth. Yeah, we might have to do slime. We might have to do slime time, aka Ricky, a little bit later to add a little bit more into it because
Were they similar?
got money.
Was it their
they were similar, but I think it was a little bit more in depth. I think we had some more thought out questions. And then of course the video quality and edit will be better because Josh is doing it. So
the man?
yeah. Shout out Josh, man. Blessings, brother.
Yeah, man.
All right, man. All right, so we getting into our topics, man. So listen, the first topic that I want to get into, man, is well, we just similar asked them, man. We all were young men, and then we're kind of maturing and becoming men. What's that transition been like for y'all?
I could go first. I was
Yes!
hoping you asked me this.
Yeah, you got to.
Ah,
We was gonna jump you if you ain't go first.
All right. This is exactly straight after high school, after graduation. I'm like, man, I'm past high school. Life is gonna be cool for real. And then a week later, wham, man, I got uppercut. So adulthood, man, I had so many like adult people saying like, "We gonna do now?" Ask me so many questions that I never thought of and all that. And then, like, I can't sit around like I used to do in high school. I have to do something, you know. You gotta keep moving.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's truthful for real. Cam Ricardo, man, I'll go last, man. What y'all gonna get pop your stuff?
Man, these bills ain't gonna pay them damn souls, man.
No.
All on you.
Well, I got a
on.
car now. Who is you telling, man? You got an apartment.
Now, keep
Yeah.
the lights on, gotta keep this fucking water running, gotta keep this fucking roof over my damn head. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. Shit hits you fast. You don't realize what you got, so you can't appreciate it. Yeah, so that's just gone. You know what I mean?
Man, that my brothers always told me it was like enjoy being a kid. I was like, man, whatever. I want to make
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
I wish I
Take
could
me
still be
back.
sleeping on a cot right now. I wish I
take
was.
me back.
I'm going all month to the first hit. Rent dues.
It's real, brother.
2000 just gone, man. That's the thing about having a job when you're younger too, man. I never really appreciated just how much that was all yours. You know, if your parents wasn't charging you like little baby rent or something like that. You know, but once you start living by yourself, man, then that first come up, man. If you don't got it,
you gotta
tough
pay
luck.
it like this whole check is going here. I ain't even
Exactly. Man,
That's how it is.
I like what JB said, man. The accountability of it, man. It's all on you. It's all on you. Ain't no one gonna push you to do this.
Ain't gonna hold your hand.
Ain't no one gonna hold your hand and talk you through this. If you don't do it, that's as simple as it is. It's done.
Carter, what you got, brother?
For me, I focus more on the mental health side. The reason why I say that, and I'll agree with Cam, you really don't know what you got until it's gone, right? So when you're in middle school, that's when you start to get a whole lot of friends. And then when you go into high school, you lose a lot of those middle school friends. And that's when you already start to miss those middle school friends. Then when you just start getting used to high school, that's when you miss your high school friends. due to the coronavirus, you can't hang out with those high school friends. Half your high school friends are living out of state, things like that. Your support system, it shrinks, right? So you really have to work on your self-growth, knowing your worth, knowing what you can and can't be, knowing your limits, your weaknesses, your strengths, evaluating yourself, your mental health, where you are spiritually, mentally, physically. I think that is what I've had to deal with as I've gotten older, to evaluate myself where I am, what I need to think about, what I need to let go, what I need to look forward to. I think when you're in middle school, you don't really think about that a lot. You know what I mean? Because you're in middle school. When you're in high school, teachers tell you all the time, hey, I mean, you're one step away from going out into the world and being an adult, going to college, being on your own. You don't really understand what it's like in that
boy, and
environment.
it hit when you walk across that stage, boy.
Yeah, as soon as you leave.
But for me, I've had a harder time figuring out the mental health aspect rather than adjusting to the real world, because I can normally adapt similar on the fly. It's just more of what's going on up here rather than the social stuff. So that stuff, obviously what Cam said is true, man. You gotta pay the bills, right? But you got to adjust to it on the fly, because if you don't pay them bills, you'll immediately learn what it's like to live in this country. Whether you're a poor class citizen, a middle class citizen. So you got to learn to adapt on the fly. That's what I've learned how to do. But in terms of just that mental health, man, sometimes it flickers. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes there's doubt, pessimism, things like that. So just knowing where I am, where I want to be, how I can improve, things like that. That's really where it is.
I think that all comes down to, man, just being with yourself. You got to learn to be with yourself. I think that's very key and vital, because at the end of the day, no matter what, you looking you in the mirror. Everybody always tries to be like, "Oh, it's me versus the world." Nah, it's you versus you. That's really what it is at the end of the day.
Me versus me.
Yeah, man. So this one is a pretty heavy topic, man, because I think this is going on, and I learned a little bit about this topic from good brother Umar. Shout out Dr. Umar. But so how do y'all feel about teachers or doctors trying to push medication such as ADHD medication on kids? Do y'all think it's a little bit too much, or
what do you mean?
How do y'all feel about it? So for me personally, I look at it as, yes, some kids are hyper, but that's just a kid being a kid. So how much of it does it become a serious case where, okay, they absolutely need it? Because I feel like they're pushing it on so many kids.
I can talk to this with some personal experience. I was diagnosed with ADHD in second grade, and I've been on Adderall, Ritalin. I take Vyvanse right now for it. And second grades are pretty early. What, 8, 7, 8, 8, 9? It's pretty early to diagnose a kid with being hyperactive. Like my nigga, of course. Like, it's obvious.
Yeah.
You a whole 8, 7, 8, 9-year-old. Of course you're gonna be hyperactive. Of course you don't want to get up and run around. And they're just so quick to medicate. It's just, I feel like, maybe I just didn't have that chance to develop without that crush. And I still take the medicine to this day. Just if I need to sit down and focus and do something. You know what I mean? Is that like just me having ADHD, or am I just relying on it because I've needed it so much up until this point? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's just how I feel about it, man. I just feel like, man, they pushing that shit heavy, and I'm like, man, these is kids, bro.
Tyrell, you can go.
I think it's too early to like give it to kids. It's because like Cam said, the kids, they want to get up and do active stuff, and I think it should at least be up to the parents. I shouldn't think no teacher or no Body shit like.
Well, I think at the end of the day, is the parents do have to make a decision, but I think they're influencing it so heavy and they're so quick to diagnose that the parents are like, okay, I need to do it. And then 9 times out of 10, instead of the parent, maybe sitting down and talking with the child, because I feel like talk therapy is the best medicine out of anything. But I mean, these are kids like we're saying. Yeah, these are kids like we're saying. You're going to be hyper. Name me a eighth grader a 8-year-old that's not hyper. Well, hell, name me an eighth grader too. That's just not hyper or full of energy. I would think there's something wrong with my kid if he wasn't hyper. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can go, Cam.
I just think that's too young an age. You know what I mean? I do understand there are people with ADHD out there.
Right.
But I just think that's just way too young an age to diagnose somebody and then start the medication they have for it is pretty harsh. And that an 8, 9-year-old, I think that's very. And I think there are better options. There are better ways to go about treating that.
Okay. Let's see. My brother and my dad had ADHD. I do not recall my brother ever taking medication for it. Then again, my brother also has dyslexia. So he did not need medication for that. What he did need was heavy sessions of tutoring 2-3 times a week, all throughout the year. I think that question just pertains to the interaction more so than the medication, because you need kind of that one-on-one attention, whether it's a therapist, a doctor, rather than just the medication. I actually think that medication is necessary if it's the last resort. So
and I don't think it is half the time. I think they're just so quick to
jump.
If they don't improve from that one-on-one interaction, the mental skills, the social skills, if they don't respond to those well, then I think you would definitely need to consider medication, because that's where the science is leading you to. Now, that is the answer to my first part. The second part is one of my favorite comedians of all time, Cat Williams. He had a son.
Oh, his son talking,
and
that ran around the house.
And
what happened?
Basically,
he's gonna tell it. He's gonna tell it.
All right.
He took his son to school. Now his son likes to run around all over the place. So the nurse at the school was like what's going on with him? And Cat Williams was like, you don't understand. The kid is happy. The kid is happy. And she was like, you don't understand. He ain't supposed to be running around yipping yapping doing all this stuff. So the nurse recommended Ritalin, which is basically a drug that basically just calms your whole body down. So immediately when he took it, he just started running, and then he just was like, whoop, and just flopped right down. Just crashed. And it was so funny because Cat Williams was like, oh, I've left him a while. I've left him for a while now. I want to see how he responds to the treatment. And he was like, I'm doing good, just like you wanted, Daddy. And he was like, oh, that's my kid. So this was an example, Kyler, of how the kid responded well to the medicine. The kid responded well to the treatment, right? You could argue that there should have been steps necessary, because Cat Williams and that nurse had some conflict of why did she immediately jump to that medication. But I don't think you can argue that the medication did not work. I mean, it did. I just proved it. So I think that it's that in between.
But then there's that piece though as well of him saying, I'm doing like how you want it. What if the aspect about the kid, and I mean, they're old enough to know what they want to an extent, but I mean, they can't make their full decisions because I mean, they're kids. But at the same token, what is it to say that, maybe that's just how they were intended to be, or maybe they just grow out of it. But that is a valid point. I mean, if that's the last resort, no, I agree. If it's like there's nothing else that's going to work, okay. But I just they're so quick to do it, and the numbers they're doing it in is crazy. It's just like any little spurt of thing, they're just doing it now, especially.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, Well, then just to add on to that a little bit, how do y'all feel about maybe let's say like a kindergarten or first grade, or like maybe they don't know, maybe they're just a little bit behind. How do y'all feel about them being so quick to take them and put them in like a slower special ed class?
I mean, again,
Uh,
my brother is dyslexic, so he has throughout his entire childhood, he's had to earn his way back up to grade level, right?
Work extra hard.
So just seeing what he went through, right? It's hard because there's a couple forms of dyslexia, right? People kind of stereotype what it is, but it was just like it it felt like the teachers at his middle school, and you said kindergarten. I can't speak for kindergartners because their brain development isn't there. I don't know.
mhm.
I don't know where it's at. So I can only speak for what my brother went through in middle school. But my brother would come home crying all the time, right? Typically we get zeros in college. We don't care, right? So my brother would come home crying because these teachers, they just gave up on him. They just
Mhm.
they were just like, he's just not going to pass the third grade. You know what I mean? Or the fourth grade or things like that. So I think it actually did start in elementary school for him. And that's when I will say it started in elementary school. He still had it in middle school. He had problems in middle school, but that's what I meant. It started in elementary, but he wasn't in kindergarten first. It wasn't all that. It was elementary, and then he had stages of it in middle school. So back to what I was saying. So once as he got older into middle school, right, my brother started feeling like an outcast. So what do I mean by that?
Mhm.
It was whenever the class was going to do a class project, whenever they were going to do group sessions, whenever they were going to do tests, whenever they were going to do whatever it may be, the teacher just told him, hey, go to this person. Like, go join all those other group of kids and work with them. Right. And my brother had enough of it. He wanted to be included. Right. Of course, there were some needs that needed to be accommodated, but it was that feeling of like that feeling of wanting to be wanted. And he felt like he didn't have it in middle school. So what he did was he went to a place called Marburn Academy. And
Mhm.
Marburn Academy is in New Albany, Ohio. Basically, long story short, a lot of kids in that high school are just like him. Um, and and he was fortunate enough to do a presentation in front of the kids and the kids' parents. And basically it was just, why do you want to go here? What do you love about the school? And the teacher in one of the classes was like, all right, class, go off and do this assignment. Go off and do this with your peers or whatever. And my brother walked up to the teacher. He's like, okay, so what room do I go to? And you know what she told him? Nowhere. You belong right here. And
Mhm.
that's when he started to bust into
That's
tears in front of everybody in the crowd because he was conditioned to be an outcast. But when he went to a new high school where people gave him that chance to be himself, he was like, oh my gosh, I actually belong here. You know what I mean? So I think again, you kind of need that support system, that interaction before you take extreme measures. I feel like they gave up on him too quickly when he was in um, elementary and a little bit of middle school. So when he went into high school, he still had a little bit of that trouble going in behind him, but he had a lot less of it. And as a result, he is right on par at grade level, and he's doing spectacular. And he is also a student at the Ohio State University. So proud of him. I love him. Gets on my nerves every now and then, but I mean, he's faced more adversity in my life.
that's what
I've
brothers
really
are for.
hats off to him. So thank you guys for listening to that story.
Yeah,
No,
it was a good story, man. Motivated.
Cameron Tyrell. Well, I can go. So I just look at
Yeah,
it like
I'm trying to think.
I don't know. I just look at it in situations too. It's like, a kid may be a little bit behind, but I feel like they take them and throw them in these rooms, and then they're not even pushing them. So they just throw them in these rooms, with other kids who may be a little bit behind. And it's like they're trying to keep dumbing them down instead of trying to advance them. It's like, why is he in fourth grade still having nap time, or having graham crackers and juice, like, or not pressing them to do nothing? Like you gotta keep pushing. It's like, and then the kids, I think they become adapt and they feel that way. Like, oh, I'm in here, so this is just what I am. And I think that kind of sucks a little bit. So I don't know. But at the same token too, I feel like there should be accountability. I ain't gonna put all the blame on teachers, but there should be an accountability on the parents, because as a parent, you got to spend time with your child and teach them. You can't just send them off to school and be like, "Oh, that's it." No, you gotta. That's why I was blessed with my parents. Sit down and help me with my letters, alphabet, the numbers, how to do my homework, and you just got to be on top of it. So as much as you want your kid to succeed, you as a parent, you got to put some work in too. You can't just send them to school and expect it to be that and the third. And then for the parents, just advice, fight hard for your kid. If they plan on throwing something on your kid, man, that fight. Don't just let them just diagnose your kid, man, because that's just going to trap them. So, and I get everybody's not the same. Everybody. Some people just have problems. It is what it is. But I think even if they do have problems, they can be a little bit more advanced in what these classes are teaching them. So that's just my input.
Uh, I get the I love what you said, Ricardo, about the not just about the like medicine to a certain extent, but it's also the attention. That's a big thing. Like when you're like in those younger grades, if you do like find yourself falling behind, you need that one-on-one attention, but not just like them calling you in another room. You need that attention, you know. And like for me, like when I started on Adderall, it worked. It worked. I was able to sit down and like not be as up and about and like start focusing. So me and myself, I didn't need the that one-on-one at school. But when it came to like getting out of school, once the medicine wore off, I was back to status quo. That's only good for the school day. You start. That's what a lot of these kids, they fall behind. It's like doing that after school stuff, like not doing that homework. What I mean, not getting that attention, and it's not just gonna be fixed by the medicine. It has to be some type of program, some type of attention, accountability on the adults. And that's hard because, a lot of these parents are single parents. It's hard to, work, support the kid, what I mean, get them to school on time and then help them afterwards. That's a lot, especially you ain't just got one kid, So I feel like the school, if you're sending your child to a school, they should pick up a lot of this slack on trying to keep the kid up to I understand the parents are responsible.
That's what they're getting paid for.
You getting paid for this. You know what I mean? Like you should pick up some of the slack when it comes to keeping the kids and giving them that special attention that they need if they need it.
I actually forgot. My brother growing up used to put this patch on his thigh.
I tried the patch. Yeah.
So clearly we're on the same page here. Like,
yeah.
I forgot. So my brother did take medicine. I don't know if it worked or not, but my brother used to always wear that patch thing. So, okay. So you can go, Tyrell.
From like my experience, like this was like second grade. I remember I was low key like, I was lacking my learning, and then my teacher did. All she did was come to my house and like tutor me throughout the whole summer. Third grade year, that's when I was like excellent and all that. I think that's a lot of kids, they just need to break that shell or like get that extra attention, like y'all been saying, from the teacher, and that what motivated me. And then also I had my mom, on my neck, about everything. But like, I think the teachers, and like I say, they get paid for it. I think they just like they should really care more and like show all their kids equal attention. You know, if they especially if they need it. And I'm just repeating what y'all saying basically, but
Bro.
yeah.
Yeah, now I don't know. This just always stuck with me because I'm not gonna say the person's name or whatever, but in eighth grade I remember, or it was seventh, we was coming into school and one of the kids was on ADHD medication, and our teacher knew because he was a little bit more hyper than he usually was, and I remember him telling the kid, you got to go home because I can't deal with you like this today, or somebody got to come bring your medicine, or you can't be here in class today. And it's hard because I feel for the teacher
Dang.
because the kid may be a little bit hyper. It's kind of hard to control, but you got to learn how to. I mean, that's what you're there for. I mean, that's how you. I'm assuming when you got to go through classes and training. I mean, I would assume they teach you about stuff like that. I mean, and just how to deal with kids in different situations. So I don't know. So. But let's see, man. All right, look, our next topic, man. How were you guys raised, man? Were you raised to be a stereotypical man, or were you taught to express your feelings, or what, man?
Tyrell.
Yo, I'm gonna go first.
Yeah, well, we jumping you. Yes, go
Hey,
first.
it's your number, dog. You up today?
So how I raised like by our parents, right? Like
Yeah,
to what
just I
type of
mean,
man
how
to
were you
be?
brought up to be a man? The step man. Are you a man or a mouse? Or are
Yeah,
you getting
yeah.
taught that hey, it's okay, let it out. Go ahead and call. How are you taught?
I was taught how to be very respectful to everybody, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Unless I feel respected, that's when I what you call. But other than that, respect others like they want to
Disrespected,
be.
yeah, yeah.
And then, like also, school comes first. She wanted me to go to college or something after high school. Man, also, she also taught me that life is more than just sitting on your ass playing games, you know. And she forced me to get that Kroger job I got, and ever since then I've been there. And she taught me to, be a good older brother. Um, and even wish she was here to talk me more, but through my 19 years, she taught me how to be a leader. To sum it up, a leader. Taught me how to be a leader.
Yes, sir. Beautiful soul, man. Cameron Ricardo, man.
Uh, I was raised on it was me and my brother and my mom. There wasn't really a lot of emphasis on like, you gotta be tough. You gotta be strong. I was very lucky and have the hindsight to acknowledge part of the upbringing. I was just raised to be me. You know, there wasn't really a stereotypical thing that I was like archetype to like some type of archetype that I was pushed towards. I just liked the stuff that I liked, and I'm very happy that I have that kind of upbringing because I feel like giving that expression to me, like power at a young age, has really helped me to choose the person that I want to be. Not just someone I end up becoming. I really feel like I had a hand in the shaping of the person that I am today because of being allowed to make decisions, at a younger age.
Mm-hmm. Ricardo.
Uh, I'm raised in a Christian family, so the thing with me is that I feel as though, and people can judge me all they want, I feel that if I'm not fully invested, then why should I get baptized, right? So I'm dealing with a lot of family members that want me to get baptized, and I'm going through so much other stuff. And I'm just like, I'm admitting it. Religion's just not my number one priority right now. Sports are my number one priority. School is my number one priority, things like that. Like I just put so much over religion right now, whether it's good or whether it's not good. I'm admitting what I've, I've been raised one way, and I'm kind of shifting the other. So I think I kind of just have to realize that what my parents say do have validity. I just have to realize that I have to do what I have to do on my own time, knowing that what I'm going to do is going to be for myself and it's going to be for the greater good. Because I know I was raised to do the right thing. I got that from my mom mostly, right? My mom is a very kind-hearted soul. So the morals, the respect, the the values, um, the virtues, the spirituality, um, I get that from her. In terms of in terms of toughness, um, making the decisions, the tough calls, the aggressiveness, I get that more from my dad. Me and my dad, uh, we we don't we don't tend to get competitive, but we always go back and forth, regardless of what it is. So it could be about sports, it could be about politics,
That's good competitiveness though, because
it
it's
could
all
it,
love at the end of the day.
it could be about anything. It's all about love. It's nothing personal. It could be about anything. You know what I'm saying? And uh, you know, me and my dad, when we go fishing, we're always trying to outfish each other. When me and my dad are watching football, we're always I talk X's and O's. My dad, he played football for Ohio State, so he talks about what it was like to actually play back in the 60s and the 70s. So we always clash because I'm talking X's and O's and he's talking experience. So we always go back and forth. He can talk politics. I talk about politics today. He'll talk about politics from decades and decades ago. You know what I mean? And we will always go back and forth, and that's fine. I've realized that that's who we are. You know what I mean? The thing with terms of my brother used to be, in my opinion, um, he used to be a real goof, real clown. You know what I mean? Then he kind of grew up all of a sudden, and it kind of hit me like, man, dude is dude's taller than me. He's just as big as me. He's got a deep voice like me. He's got facial hair like me, and it's just like, wow, just he just developed so quickly. And it's like now he can actually see me eye to eye. So we can actually talk about real life issues and we could actually talk about, the struggles of manhood and things like that. So we can actually start to talk about politics. And we can actually talk about, education. We can actually talk about, materialism, where to invest your money. It's just, we can talk about music. We can talk about anything now. I felt like
Mm-hmm.
even though we were 2.5 years apart, I felt like we were just now starting to get really, really close. Because back in the day, he was all into things that I was just starting to get out of, right? So if I just escaped the toy stage, right? Like everyone has that toy stage. Well, he was still in the toy stage, and I was going into the socialistic stage with my friends. So I was shying away from the toys and video games, and I was going to start to hang out with my friends more. And my brother would start to hang out with he would start to just spend time with his toys and his video games, right? So it felt like we were on two different stages all the time. And now it feels like boom, we are finally like we're doing the same things, right? So it's just easier to connect with. Obviously, you argue in times and you disagree at times,
Of
but
course.
That's just siblings. Yeah, that's
that's
just
who we
siblings.
are.
You can't do nothing about that.
Right?
Yeah.
It felt like again, growing up, I was always a step ahead. So some things I used to find cool, he would want to do something with me, right? Whether it would be like doing something fun that he viewed was fun, whatever it may be. And of course, I was the jerk. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to go do this, because I felt like I grew out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And now that I feel like he caught up to me, again, I didn't force him to do anything. It just like naturally happened. So
Mhm.
happen, it feels like, oh, okay, now we have that kind of bond where it's just like, oh, it's definitely a good relationship to keep and build on.
What's the age gap between you and your brother?
2.5.
Same for me and mine. Yeah, same for me and mine. I'm the younger one though, so I probably relate more to your younger brother than.
That's some good stuff, man. Y'all spitting today. Y'all brought it today. I'm liking this, but nah, man.
Remember, no cap, man. Come on,
For for me personally, what Tyrell was saying, man, I've just been brought up off of respect. So, yes, sir, no, sir. Yeah, I mean, just being respectful. But whether it was my parents, my other family members, or the daycares I would go at, all the daycares I've been to were strong Black women. So they taught you manners and respect, how to pray. And I've one thing with me, man, I've kind of, not to sound arrogant, and I try to be as I don't know how to put this, but like us, just not trying to be cocky and not being full of myself. I nowadays, ever since I've gotten a lot closer with God, because like I said, I had that battle my freshman year of college. I was battling. I was trying everything in my power not to include it, and I just felt stuck. I felt like I wasn't going nowhere, but like, as not to sound cocky or nothing, but nowadays I just I look at everything like maybe I can be maybe I'm the chosen one, to an extent of maybe I can do something that nobody's done before. The reason I say this is because I look at things as I get to see two sides of everything. So where I'm going with this is, people around me have shaped me, but not in a way as, oh, you need to be like this, you need to be like that. It's more of, I grew up in a single household with my mother, and then I went over my dad's house on the weekend, who was married. So I seen what a marriage was like. Um, my mom, we live in a rougher area. My dad lives in a nice area. I got to see the balance of that. I'm a single child with my mother. With my dad, I have three siblings. Just the aspect of everything. I've seen ignorant people. I've seen classy people. I've seen both sides of everything, kind of like the yin and yang thing. And I feel like that's what shaped me, because I was able to pick and choose out of everything that was around me. And the experience was like, no, I don't want that, but I want this. I'm gonna take this piece from that person and leave that with them. It's just, that's what I picked to build myself, and I'm always at conflict with myself every day, because my opinions are always changing. Because I feel like that's a good thing. It's like, I don't want to stay consistent. I want to build what, one day maybe this may feel right, then the next day I'm like, no, that was it. That was stupid. Why would you do that? And I'm just always at conflict with myself to be the best person that I can. And one thing with me is like, in high school, really in middle school too, like, I was very quiet. Besides like my friend group, like, I didn't talk to nobody. And somehow people were always trying to talk to me and break me out of my shell. And I never broke out of it until, I would say, probably around this year. I've become like, maybe I do need to speak, or maybe I do need to talk, or maybe people need to hear what I say. Um, so it's just that experience of, man, I learned everything, and I'm just trying to take the path God gave me. And as y'all know, I just want to do something ain't nobody done before. I was talking to Ricardo earlier, with the help of you guys. I feel like we can deliver our people, bro. That's really my main goal. Taking care of my family, and helping my brother grow. And I try and be the best person I can be, not even for myself, but because I know I have people looking up to me, and like my nephew and my little brother. And I know I'm a light to my family. And I just know, if I want to do what I want to do, I need to be the best person I can be. I don't want to be a hypocrite. I don't want to be a terrible person, because I want to lead young Black people and older Black people just to the right path. So I just got to be as perfect as I can be. And so I battle with myself daily on that, because I want to be perfect, but that's impossible. So that's just why I battle with myself. I just want to be the best that I can be. And yeah, that's that, man. So.
Sure, man. It's hard.
See, so
It's hard, man.
yeah, it's hard, bro. I don't know. I don't know. I learned how to just talk to God, bro. That's really all it was. Like I said, I tried to fight it, and I just was stuck when I tried to leave him out. And it
Nah.
just didn't work, bro. But all right, our next question kind of leading to this. Do y'all think with y'all's head or y'all's heart, man? Which one do y'all think with?
Heart,
Or do
heart, oh God. If my heart ain't in it, man, no matter how hard I try to rationalize it, I ain't gonna be with it. You know what I mean? And sometimes, it lines up. You know what I'm saying? What I want to do is sometimes it's the right thing to do, but sometimes it makes no sense, and it just feels right.
y'all?
But then it works out. You know, for me, it's just
Hmm.
been a thing about sticking with it. I'm seeing all the way through. But
Hmm.
usually when my heart's inside, the heart want what the heart want. And for me, it's usually life. You know,
Yeah,
only got one life. Why spend your life trying to rationalize some shit you don't even want to do?
right.
bro.
I
So
go.
where
I
are
go.
you? Where
Nah. I, I use both, but if I had to pick one, I mostly use my mind first. Um, like I overthink stuff a lot. I used to overthink it a lot, like with everything. Like, what should I drink? Should I drink this because or what if I get sick? Because I overthink a lot of stuff, stupid stuff. But
That's why that
like
head get you
Cam,
in trouble.
yeah, that heart, man, your heart knows what you feeling. How it's. Oh man, I don't know how to say it.
It's
I'm thinking
hard.
about. I don't know how to speak it, but like I want to be more like Cam, thinking with my heart. Be full 100% committed.
Hmm.
Oh, he just left.
He gonna pop back up.
I was like, oh shoot, dang, my bad. But
Cursed
yeah,
this man out. You said his name and he kicked him out.
nah, yeah, I just want to be 100% committed, and like as the older I get, the more I use my heart.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Harder, man.
you can make arguments for both. So
Yeah,
I would say it depends. I think Kyler needs to add a third one. You could either trust your heart, your mind, or your gut. And I think
Yeah.
that
that gut feeling too.
and I think that those are the three that
Hmm.
people back and forth with because my mom thinks a lot with her gut. Like
That's a
there
big one. I wasn't even thinking good add
like
on.
I remember there was this one time where I got in a little minor car accident. It was minor. Not nobody was hurt. And my mother was on pretty much the other side of the road. So I was going this way, she was going that way. And we were on obviously two different paths. So let's just again, I was going this way, she was going that way. It's not like we were that close. Um, but she saw a lot of accidents on the street and she's just like, I have a gut feeling my son may be involved in this. And a few moments later, I called her and I was like, Mom, I got in an accident. Like it took like a gut feeling from her
Hmm.
to to tell me like, man, it was just like it felt like I had a gut feeling my son was in danger. So my mom typically has that gut feeling. Um, my dad thinks with his heart. My dad has always thought with his heart. Typically, as a result, sometimes people take advantage of him because he has a kind heart. And
Man,
let me let
That
me, re-
part.
let me repeat
That
that.
part.
say
When you
that
have
again.
when you have a kind heart and sometimes you don't think with your head, people will use that and take advantage of you. So you don't always want to think with your heart. Okay. When you have an ex-girlfriend, your heart tells you to get back together with her, but your brain says, hey, you broke up for a reason. You need to remember why you broke up, because a lot of people don't change and sometimes things repeat itself, right? More times.
Experience.
So but again, like what Cam said, sometimes the heart wants what the heart wants, sometimes it's inevitable. I understand that too. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I completely understand that argument. I'm not saying that you should use your brain, because sometimes there is a level of ignorance. What your truth is may not be the truth or not someone else's truth. So if I go on leading this way, and if I believe it's my way, the egotistical way, and it may not be the right way of thought. So what's the point of thinking with your head if it could be ignorant or arrogant, egotistical, right? So however you think in your mind, that level of approach is not always the way to go either, right? So there's all those factors in, and not to mention thinking about your gut. My mom could have been completely wrong. I could have been nowhere near that accident. She just could have had a panic attack for no reason because I just started to drive, right? But she was right. It was a gut feeling. Sometimes gut feelings, you have a little bit of luck in there, right? So again, each of them have their flaws. Each of them you can rely on to some extent. You can rely on some more than others. I just think that, to sum it all up, if you use one, I think that you need to be very careful of how you're evaluating your life. Very, very careful. I think you need to use a little bit of all three, right? However you want to balance it, I'm not going to argue with, because people are different experiences, different truths, things like that. But if you just go off of just one, I'm like, I really think your life could be in jeopardy at times, especially when you're making decisions. You know what I mean? Like when you're trying to get a job and you're presenting yourself to the CEO, the boss of the company. You know what I mean? Are you really going to say, and I'm going to lean with one or the other? You better use everything you got to get that job. You better not just use
facts.
You better not just use your brain. You need to use that heart, that compassion, that will to deliver that job service that they want you to do. Don't just think up here. You know what I mean?
And that gut feeling of, hey, maybe I shouldn't say that, or maybe that's not the, So
there you go. You know what I'm saying? You can't just, and it's not a bad question. It's a good question, but I think people get in trouble because they feel like they need to do one or the other. And I'm just like, man, you got to use all three. You got to trust with your mind, your heart, and your gut. If you trust in all three, however you want to, then I think you'll be in good shape. You know what I mean? When you my last example before we move on, when you're taking a test, your brain tells you one thing, your gut tells you something else, right? My brain is telling me that to pick C because everybody says it's likely going to be C nowadays. But my gut tells me, man, A and B don't make any sense. So it's between C and D. I'm leaning towards D. I got a gut feeling it's D, but my brain's telling me C.
So that's a good idea.
So which one should I go with?
That's every test.
I mean, like I said, I think people sometimes get in trouble because they feel like they're limiting their selves. Don't limit yourselves. Use as much brain waves as possible. You know what I mean? That's all I got to say on it.
Yeah, that's so with me. I think I tend to lean with my heart, because I even told you guys I go on rants with you guys sometimes about how I feel like, hey, such and such a certain person may be using me or whatever, and that's because I'm doing stuff with my heart. But after I end up doing it, and I'm like, I should have known that was gonna happen. My brain is like, I told you, stupid ass. Why'd you do that? It's like, why would you do that? It's like, so my brain is always there. Like after I do something, I know I shouldn't. My brain is there to check me. Like, why would you do that? Why would you keep doing that? You know, you know the outcome every time. Why do you keep doing that? And that's the thing. So I need to learn how to balance. But then with my brain is like, when I think with my mind or whatever, it's like, hey, maybe that may be the right thing to say for me, but man, that may be kind of assholish to that person. Or I mean, I get in that sometimes with my girl. Like I say something where that may be the right thing, but she's a female with emotions, and I just said something to her that didn't sit right with her. So now she's upset, just for my betterment and me feeling good. So yeah, that's key, and I think the gut thing is very important too. I think that's pretty important because it's like I don't think either of them can beat the gut. I mean, to be honest, I think the gut may have the most power. Um, so that's all I got to say on that. That was a good addition.
Before we change subject though, I ain't gonna lie, this happened to me before where either my gut and my heart will think the same thing and my brain thinks some other stuff. Like that happened to me
Yeah,
plenty of times too. Or my brain and my heart thinking
it's
something,
hard to
my
pick,
gut.
man.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's
I
just like
remember.
I said. That just goes on how I was raised, bro. Just the heart, just being, a good human being. But sometimes that leaves you fucked.
I remember
I
when.
like that you make that the distinction. I was kind of lumping in the heart and gut as like one thing. You know what I mean? Like heart, like I was saying, like if you don't feel right, you know what I'm saying? But that's really just a gut feeling when I'm thinking of it like that. You know what I mean? So now I gotta shit my hands. So I definitely rely on that gut, man. If it don't feel right, I ain't really doing shit.
Yeah. Like Kyler, you don't have like. Let me give you an example. I remember when I'll talk sports for a second. Chris Broussard would always battle Nick Wright because Nick Wright was like, "Oh, LeBron's gonna win it. The Lakers are gonna win it," and Chris Broussard was like, "Use your brain. The Clippers are better. You're thinking with your heart." And it turns out the Lakers did win. Chris Broussard, what he was thinking was the Clippers were better. That was his level
On
of
paper,
victory.
that's that on
That
paper.
that
That's
was
the on
his.
paper.
Right, but if what you think in your brain isn't factual, if it's ignorant, if it's not there, then it doesn't matter about your brain, right? Because what you're thinking isn't correct. You know what I'm saying? The Lakers were better the entire year. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
for Chris Broussard and everybody else to pick the Clippers, it wasn't just a feeling in our heart because we love LeBron. We were using a little bit of this, and a gut feeling. We were using all three. Like we were like, oh man, I actually have a gut feeling that the Lakers are going to be a
yeah.
little bit
No,
motivated to win the
yeah.
championship after
I
Kobe's
had
death.
a gut feeling. Yeah, I had a gut feeling
Right,
too on that aspect. And like LeBron just missed the playoffs for the first time in a long time. There's no
right,
way he don't go out there and try and win this thing. But
right.
so yeah, that's yeah, man. So two more topics, y'all. Let's see. Do y'all feel like the Black Lives Matter movement has helped us, or has it been a disadvantage for us?
You want me to go first?
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Um, I think it helped. I can't think of no negative right now, but I think it helped a lot. It got people opening their eyes, and like on games, I be seeing like Black Lives Matter stuff and all that, and Black equality and all that. And, I mean, we do got a little negative side, how people like all lives matter, but you know, to me, I see more positive than negative.
Yeah, Cam or Ricardo.
I'll go.
I'll go
Um,
ahead. Go ahead.
it's all you, Cam. It's all you. It's all you. You just came
Are
back.
you
So.
sure? I'm good. I love what the movement has done in terms of awareness. You know, but awareness I feel is a two-sided coin. At the same time, getting promoted, getting the word out there, you know what I'm saying, the level of awareness. I love the social media age in terms of that we can see all this stuff that was happening, you know. But at the same time, you know, they beat the dog shit out of Rodney King and niggas still ain't care. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm trying to say, why it's all this goodness and promoting it, I feel like it's also been given, it's also been targeted. You know what I'm saying? By the other side.
Mm-hmm.
As, look at them. Why can't they just, it's not white girl football? Why can't they just, at halftime, while we run into the bathroom? You know what I'm saying? It's, well, I love what the movement is doing. I love it. It's so hard just to see it being attacked. You know what I'm saying? Just without good reason. It just seeing that hatred come out is it's already been there, but just seeing it come out is kind of just a hard thing for me to stomach. You know?
Yeah. Hold on, y'all. I got one thing to say. I'm mean to cut you off. Trump and Biden are tied at Georgia right now at 49.4%. But hold on. Trump
Georgia?
is ahead by 3%, but it's tied at
3,000.
49.4% of the vote. So he
Man,
can still win
Biden
that.
flips Georgia, man. Biden flips Georgia, man. Woo.
And
Yeah,
also
99 though.
Also,
Wait.
yesterday in Pennsylvania, Biden was down by almost 400,000 votes. He is now currently down by 40,000. So it's 40. Yeah. So and there's
Oh, nigga.
90%. So there's 10% left. Yeah. So get him out. But go ahead. Go ahead, Ricardo. What you think? I got pretty excited. It's time for him to bounce.
So here's what I will say. It's not hurting, but it's not completely helping. And that's how I view it. So again, what Cam said is the reason why I say it's slightly helping. In terms of awareness, I don't think people can argue that, because there are people that are willing to actually go out, collect money into this cause, go out into politicians, fight for this, fight for that. And the awareness, the protests are there. They're there. I'm not going to act like they're not there. But studies have shown that after these tragic deaths happen, like Rodney King, for example, the things like that, white people tend to go back to normalcy, and they tend to escape the Black Lives Matter movement and going back into their regular lives. I remember back when George Floyd was killed, everybody posted a black square on their Instagram, and they thought it was over, like that mission complete. So once they put the black square on Instagram, everyone was like, all right, we're done here. I'm just going to put Black Lives Matter in my bio, and now I don't have to do anything else. So now everybody knows that I suddenly support Black people. I mean, supporting Black people is more than just, I'm not going to judge you because you're Black. It's more than just how you see me in the community. How are you using your privilege to help me so I can be in the same playing field as you? What are you fighting for to help me? That is the difference. I feel like in terms of that, I think Black Lives Matter doesn't strict to that agenda. They go political here. They go this way one time, right? It's not strictly to get white people to stay with them. It's a temporary fix, right? To get everybody woke, right? Just for a short fuse, right? You know what I mean? And then it's just like, boom. You know what I mean? It's kind of like what we need from the Black Lives Matter movement is less of a political approach and more of a educating the white people, the white majority, on this is a lifetime movement. This isn't some 3-day, 4-day free trial run. This is for eternity, right? This is forever. If you've seen the level of divisiveness in the election, it has not changed that much since 2016. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason why Donald Trump has over 68 million votes. There's a reason for that. People can tell you, oh, I'm not racist. I love Black people. I think I have plenty of Black friends. Yeah, but what are you doing to help me? Right? Like, what are you doing for me? I love it when people use the phrase, what have you done for me lately? Seriously, what have you done for me? I think that the Black Lives Matter movement needs to focus on educating and gathering and keeping the white majority. Because at the end of the day, history repeats itself. The Dr. Kings of the world couldn't do what he would have done without white people staying. Like, they had to have stayed, whether they died, whether they got beaten, whether they got jailed, they had to stay. They didn't just say, this is too much for me, I'm just gonna leave. You know what I mean? Oh, the pressure, my parents, No, like seriously, like people need to have some commitment here. You know what I mean? They need to make this a part of their life. And I feel like Black Lives Matter needs to emphasize that a little bit more. I feel like if they do that, I feel like they'll be in a better direction.
Yeah, nah. And that's on me. That's like to tie in all that, man. What is needed is what we're trying to do, bro. I just can't stress that enough. We got to learn how to do shit for ourselves and stop relying because they obviously don't give a damn. I don't know. I think, like y'all said as well, I think it's been at a standstill about helping and not helping because it's like, there's people, the awareness aspect, like you guys are saying, but at the same token, it's like there's some people that in the movement that are false. They're just doing it because it's cool, and they don't really know what it's about. They don't know what it's about or what it really takes, and that's frustrating because I try and love with my brothers and sisters, but it's like, man, y'all are just doing this for likes, bro. Y'all don't know what it takes and what it can do. And there's people out there who are telling you. I'm not claiming to be the one that out there and tell everybody. There's been Farrakhan's, there's been Marcus Garvey's, there's been Malcolm X's who told y'all what has needed to be done, and nobody wants to listen. They just want to. I feel like black people, most of them are just at a content space where they're like, my life is good. I mean, I'm just living, so that's that. And there needs to be more than that. I dedicate the rest of my life to trying and help for y'all people. That's how so serious I am about it. I don't know, but I just feel like we just need to connect more, and just build this community, man. That's where it starts. I can't stress this enough. Politics are bought. Y'all want somebody to do something for you, you can buy them. That's how it works. Trump supports who he supports because that's who he's endorsed by. As simple as that. It's simple math, and we just need to learn to have money in the community bounce. We don't know how to do that. As soon as we get money, and I'm a victim myself of it. As soon as I get money, I'm going to go and splurge, buy some shoes or buy whatever instead of saving my money up. So it's a lot we can do. And I retweeted a video early on Twitter of Farrakhan in 2010 saying, from the time we were here, he was just giving a timestamp. I believe it was 1960. The fight in 1963. The fight was for what was it? For justice and jobs. Fast forward 20 years later, the March Washington or whatever, for justice and jobs. You fast forward all the way to 2010, it was still, they were fighting for the same thing, justice and jobs, and we're still doing that now. So it's like we need to find a barrier to break because we just keep going in cycles. So we just need to learn how to do the dirty work, man, and go at it. Like I said, I'm so passionate about this. I'm dedicating the rest of my life to trying to help as much as I can. So that's that on that, man. Last topic, courtesy of Ricardo, is the Ice Cube situation. So we backed him up, but apparently this brother's been lying. Also, Lil Wayne, I cannot express my disgust for you. You were arguably my favorite artist of all time, and you went and did this. This was a complete, utter slap in the face. Literally, this was a complete, utter disgrace. I don't know if it's because you're on drugs, or I don't know if it's just because I don't know if it's because you're a coon, or if it was because you were detached from reality so long. I am utterly disgusted that you were somebody I looked up to. And I hate that every 5 songs on my playlist is a song of yours, and I have to skip over it because I can't even stomach it. So that's that. But how y'all feel about Ice Cube, man?
Yo, I don't know what happened. He lied.
So here's what happened. And
yeah, Ricardo, fill him in, man.
So Tyrell, we're dealing with half truths here. Ice Cube told half truths. Yes, there was $500 billion involved. That is the truth. But he said, the first thing he said, and what we defended him because he claimed that the Democrats told him that we will not proceed with your platinum plan until after the election.
Yeah, I remember that.
That is a lie. Okay. What happened was Kamala Harris tried to talk to him on Zoom. He denied the Zoom call because he said he didn't think it would be progressive enough. He didn't think it would go anywhere. So basically, if you didn't think he was a Trump supporter enough, if you read the Platinum Plan, and I'm reading it quote for quote, okay, seek infrastructure funding that will lead to widespread growth in the annual $500 billion federal contracting opportunities. That has nothing to do with Black people. That $500 billion that Trump and you negotiated is going to infrastructure. It's not even going into the Black communities. It's literally just a plan of infrastructure. And it's literally just like opportunities. That's not even exclusive to Black people at all.
That's crazy. So he lied.
It's either he got lied or Trump just manipulated him.
Yeah, or he just don't know.
Definitely inclusive. It's just.
It's like, dude, you literally just and so many people.
That's why we don't need celebrities in there talking to them. We need the motherfuckers that have dedicated their life, like Farrakhan and them talking to him. That's who needs to be talking to him. We don't need celebrities. And that's one thing too. Damn, who said it? Malcolm X, because I was watching his Ballad of the Bullet the other day at work. I felt real empowered. But he was saying what other race their main go-to people are the people they look up to are celebrities. What other race does that? What other race looks at celebrities as their people of guidance and the people they look up to? We're the only race that does that. And these niggas don't know nothing about what they talking about. They just say, oh, that sounds good. You don't know. You got to look, bro. We need to send people in there. That's why I appreciate what T.I. said not too long ago. He said Trump invited him. He said, I'm not going in there unless I can bring the minister with me. And Trump denied it because he know he can't go toe to toe with him because he will tear him up. We need people like that in there talking who know what they talking about. So, but y'all go ahead.
I just think that this is a lesson of two things. One, like Kyler said, right? We can't do everything on our own. We need to realize that we need to build a community and plan together, because it was like Cube was trying to be the home run hitter, right? He wasn't building anything. He was just like, all right, I'm just going to take a swing and I'm going to try to go for a home run instead of going single, home plate, right? It was like he just wanted that immediate home run. And it was like, dude, I'm not saying you're not educated. He has given many Black people jobs. I'm not going to actually act like he hasn't made a difference.
Right. He was misled.
It's like, dude, these sort of things take plans. That thing that I just read from the Platinum Plan was literally a sentence. That was so vague and broad. That Platinum Plan should have details all for 15, 16, 17, 20 documents of just straight facts of what needs to happen. And that just goes to show you we're dealing with a president that just manipulated a Black icon to get votes. He does not, again, he does not, again, care about the Black community. If I'll use the if it doesn't affect his bottom line. If it somehow increases his reputation, his clout, if he somehow gains power, wealth, whatever, if he controls that narrative, yeah, he may do something. He may do some things up there. He may do some things to help, but he won't do it if it hurts his bottom line. That's what I'm trying to tell people. You know what I mean? The reason why Trump agreed to this Platinum Plan is because Republicans love infrastructure. They love it. They love it. They love building an economy. They would negotiate building an economy for you for years.
Anybody, yeah.
Anybody. Like, seriously. Like, it was just like, there's so many ways that $500 billion could have been distributed. There's so many ways. And I felt like we needed philosophers, educators. We needed, leaders, political candidates that actually
needed up there. Like, I don't want to listen.
Knew like where it was supposed to go. Because 500 billion, I was telling.
Yeah, because first off, what would happen? He just threw it to him. Then what happens? Who gets to decide where it goes?
Apparently, he did.
Bullshit. Yeah, that wouldn't have done nothing but make niggas kill each other more.
And not to mention, Cube actually believed that Trump would actually give $500 billion to black people. Like, for real, the U.S. economy
He's blinded by that number.
The U.S. economy spends around $400 billion on infrastructure. And you think that they're going to spend more on black people? Really? Like I just said, Republicans love infrastructure. So good luck with that. Good luck. So at the end of the day,
y'all got anything to add, man? Yeah, that's.
I just learned a lot from y'all too.
One thing here,
man. Heads and tails, niggas are cool. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, Ricardo, you said it all perfectly.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta say all that. Niggas are cool. The actions that he's taken have done nothing for the culture except promote coonery. And I just, I can say everybody's cool. I ain't got shit to say.
That's one thing we don't tolerate. We care and love about our black people, and that's just that. But we not tolerating nothing, bro. We tired of it, bro. We 4 young black men, and our homie Josh, who happens to be white, but y'all heard him talk. Y'all know how that goes. Shout out Josh, man. So
and
we just not
like
we
you
not
said,
taking it, bro.
We're not trying to. Again, I know we threw out some words. Like, it's really just a level of disappointment because we loved Cube, right? And it's like, we were defending
Lil Wayne. God damn.
Like, we were.
I'm gonna kill if I ever see Lil Wayne, bro.
Like, there was footage of us defending Cube and everything, and it's already been posted. And even Tyrell was like, he was all up in it. Everybody was like, okay, he had the right intent. He just needed a little bit better delivery. But it was just like, now it's just like, okay, dude, now you're not even being honest. Now you're giving half truths. And now it's just like, dude, take the L. This just goes to show you when people don't do their research, and you could say, oh, I did this platinum plan and everybody should love me and glorify me. But if you didn't research what the platinum plan actually delivered, then you would have been like, you would have kept praising Q. You would have kept thinking he was trying to help when really he was not doing anything at all. Like, Trump literally used him to steal votes.
Puppet. He tried to do the same with Kanye West, bro. They don't. Yeah,
Kanye admitted that he voted for himself. You know how many people voted for Kanye in this election?
What was like
a nice little
handful.
I mean,
a handful.
Yeah, man, I couldn't even vote for Kanye out of joke, man. Like, this is too much at some point. You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. Everybody, man, we just I can't stress this enough. Y'all need to put the right people in there that know what they're talking about to negotiate. I'm tired of celebrities speaking for us. We need people who lay their life down and they know. They done study the ins and outs and they know what to do. I think Dusty needs to be put in there to make the decisions. If anybody's gonna speak for us, damn it, I want somebody like that. Or hell, if you want to throw a celebrity in there, motherfucking throw Killer Mike in there. If you want to throw somebody, that's somebody that got some sense.
Killer Mike.
Yeah, throw somebody in there. So that's all I got to say, man. Everybody, bro, just be a better human being. If you got to pay a little bit more taxes, but you're making fucking $200,000 a year, some people who's not even eating meals at night. Well, just be a good human being, bro. I'm sorry, you
it's not hard.
A little bit of money. Hey, I'm sure a spot in heaven is worth some more than money. But all right, man. Anybody else got anything else?
Yeah, I just wanted to give you a shout out because what we won't do on this podcast is be ignorant. So if we find it true,
absolutely no ignorance.
We will acknowledge that we were wrong, and we will acknowledge that we have had a change of heart. And again, we're not trying to slander. We're trying to move forward. We're really not trying to be disrespectful. It's
trying to give information.
Yep. We just research, and then I think we got to make a conclusion, because the way Cube was giving half truths, you know, all of us were like, oh man, it wasn't like a total failure that what he was trying to accomplish. But now you look at the platinum plan, we're just like, oh my gosh, you're a pawn. Like it was like, oh, I'm like, man. And the whole reason, and I was like, why is Cube trending on Twitter again? What did he do now? And I literally sent it to Kyler, like, oh,
he confirmed it for you.
I'm like, my Lord. I'm like, that's twice he lied to me. That's twice. So
I got one more thing, man. All white people ain't evil, but my black brothers and sisters, you made it through this video. Trust what your black brothers and sisters say, man. I think a lot of y'all doing cooning by that too. Y'all just hearing and believing everything, essentially from the white man. Maybe I spent a lot of my time as a kid growing up believing that, like, oh, what they said is right, until I learned to do some research for myself. All you got to do is research. It's there for you. Ain't nobody telling you, oh, you should sway this way or that way. These are facts. So just do some research. That's all you got to do. I promise. It'll take you 30 seconds. Type in what you want. You'll find what you're looking for. It'll pop up first thing on Google. So that's it for me. Tyrell, Cam, y'all got anything before we close out, man?
Coons. So, nah.
Freedom, man. Listen. What Umar say, man? He said you can help a Negro, but you can't trust a coon. Because a Negro, what did he say? He said a Negro don't know the difference that what he's doing, but a coon knows. So yeah.
Hey man, my brother legit works with a coon. But it's funny because he knows he's a coon. Like he admitted to my brother he was a coon, and I'm like, you're proud of that?
Is it Terry Crews?
You're proud of being a coon.
Yeah, it's the Terry Crews type beat, dude.
Like sometimes coons are just ignorant, but if you know you're a coon, you really effed up.
Something else, yeah.
We know one. There's one that coming to our job, man. He married to the white woman, you know, interracial marriage relationships, you know. But what did he say, Tyrell, to the one black girl that was being wild? He was, oh, this ghetto shit. Like, bro, come on, bro, relax. Damn, shirt all tight, belly hanging out. Hang yourself up. You talking about somebody else, bro? Right, tight ass vest. Cam, you got anything?
Like, you know, so niggas, same thing I've been saying. All these therapy.
Yes, sir.
I've been in hospital.
Hey, Kyler, we ain't ending this. Kyler, we ain't ending this just yet. Hey, Tyrell.
I'm cool. But
Tyrell,
if you got something else.
What happened on Saturday with Michigan?
All right, I gotta go, y'all. I gotta go.
Hey, hold on. Before we go. Hey, listen. Before we go, man, we got to give a special shout out, man. One of the guys in here made a big boy move, man. Cam got an apartment, man. Let's clap it up for my boy.
Appreciate y'all, man.
We love seeing our brothers doing good out here, man. Yeah. And especially one of us, man. You 1/4 or 1/5 of SHG, you know. So that's that, man. Everybody, man, keep supporting, bro. We're gonna keep pushing out, bro. We could keep producing numbers. Sooner or later. I don't care if we only get one view. Okay, we're gonna keep pushing it out. Love all y'all. Get you in Arizona. Yeah. Hey, everybody, man. Shit, y'all, we just gotta keep pumping, but we're so close to 1,000 total views, bro. We're so close, bro. We at like 700 something. So we just gotta keep pump, bro. Put in everybody's face, bro. Just be like, fuck it. Shit, I might hit up a KKK Facebook group and put it in there. Shit, I'm about to push this thing out, man.
I got these
all right. All right, man. All right. Love y'all boys. Love all the support, man. We'll see y'all next week, brother. Black Power, man. Y'all have a good night.
All right, y'all.
Yeah.
All right,
yes, sir.
Shake it off. This is big to